Simple, just you have one vanishing point, it comes out. This is by Coloring Collage Blogspot, so thank you for the inspiration for that. That would be something simpler that younger kids could do. This would be middle-aged kids, maybe upper elementary. You could do a rolling gravel road with some patchwork hills. And then upper middle school to high school, I have this one in the tutorial. It's just a kind of a quirky oil pastel drawing of the river down here at Linville. So I'm going to go ahead and put all those together in a short video for you. Okay, everyone, I want to show you a few little things in one-point perspective. These are landscapes that I found just right here around Linville, Sully. And this is just a gravel road here. And we talk about one-point perspective, where everything vanishes to one point. So you can see here I'm drawing on the road, and you can see where my vanishing point is. Everything from that point kind of branches out, comes away from that point. Okay, so I'm going to hide that, and you can kind of see where it would be. If we look at this picture, you see that you have hills here, and to get that depth with one-point perspective, you start at your point and you bring your road down to the top of the first hill. Then you need to go wider and end really wide. And you come way out. And that's how you get that road going over the hills, and it gives you that depth. This is one of my favorite one-point perspective. When you have a river or a stream, you find your vanishing point right back where it vanishes to, where you can't see anymore. That's why they call it the vanishing point. And then you can see the river goes from narrow to wide. So here again, it goes from narrow to wide. Everything comes out of your vanishing point right here. Railroad tracks is one of the best examples of vanishing points. Again, just like the river, you find where your vanishing point is, where you can't see any further. And your tracks come from a narrow point to a wide point. Narrow point to a wide point. This is wider than there, where your lines come together. Everything comes out of that vanishing point on your landscapes. So here's just the basic contours. You can kind of see everything going to that point. Another really good example of this, I stopped out by the greenhouse because I thought it would give you a good example to see lots of things going to one vanishing point. So here again, one-point perspective. You have the sidewalk going to the vanishing point. You have the greenhouse tables going to the vanishing point. And this is what's really interesting. The flower pots, do you see how they get from big to small? This is a perfect example of one-point perspective. As things get closer to that vanishing point, they get smaller. Same up here. This row of pots goes from wide or larger to narrow. And you can see almost every line in the greenhouse goes to that same vanishing point. So this is the one that I'm going to base the art project or the example on today. This actually has two vanishing points, but it's still in one-point perspective because I have a vanishing point over here. I'll put that in. And then I have a vanishing point over here. So this is a little bit more challenging, maybe for some of you older students. And I'm just going to put my contours in here. These are my important shapes or outlines that I'm going to want to include in my picture. So I know that I have trees in this area, and I have trees over here, but then my water vanishes to each of these points. So I'm going to go ahead and try to turn that off. You can kind of see these are the basic lines that I'm going to focus on for my piece of art today. You're going to start out by putting in the contour lines with just a pencil or the outline. Use lots of colorful things with your pastels like bright colors that maybe aren't realistic, or if you're using crayons, don't be afraid to make the grass something other than green. This is not about the end product. It's about the process of making art and working on perspective. So these pieces of outdoor art should really just be for fun and to practice new things and try to put your own twist on what you're seeing.